Hey guys, this is Kevin at what used to be FullTiltSpeedways.com. I wanted to show you my track cleaner that I built. I don't get a lot of time to play with my tracks anymore, usually about once a year. You can see here this is one of my last routed tracks that I built. It's one I have here at the house that we get out usually every year around Christmas and play with it. But as you know, if you let your tracks sit very much, you have to clean the rails and run cars a little bit. I mean, this track stays pretty clean because I keep it folded up, but you still have to run the cars a little bit, kind of get the rails polished, and then they run just fine. So I've come up with an idea that I think works really well, so I thought I'd share it with all the HO community out there. It is a way of building a really cost-effective, very effective track cleaner, or at least it is for this type track. I've taken an old Tyco US-1 dump truck, which they're common as dirt, really cheap. And what I've done is I've basically installed a 9-volt battery. They'll fit perfectly in the bed. Just take the tailgate off. And I've run 2 wires inside, and right beside the motor contacts in these trucks is a great little place to solder a couple of wires on, and you can actually run the motor with a 9-volt battery. That's what we've done. We've taken the wires and soldered them on, run them out, and then you have to add some weight. I've just epoxied. This is actually a rear wheel weight out of a Tyco US-1. It sits over the rear axle, and I just took one of those because I had some scrap ones and epoxied it to the nose of this old body, and it balances the truck out just fine. Now, I'll show it to you here. As you can see underneath, it's just a stock US-1. And these work really well for track cleaners for various reasons. One, you've got front and rear pickup shoes, so you've got a lot more contact. And the front and rear pickups also give you more surface area, so as the truck is running, it's polishing your rails. The problem that I've discovered with, if you have a track cleaner that just runs off a regular controller, you're still going to get to spots in the track possibly that the track cleaner won't run. And so you have to walk down there, push it, get it going until you can kind of work through that area. Well, if it's powered by a 9-volt battery, it's going to run regardless of whether there's power on the rails. So that's a good solution right there. But we go one step further. If you'll take your power supply, and assuming you have an adjustable power supply, take your power supply and adjust it down to just slightly above the battery voltage. That way the truck is running off your power supply, but if it gets to a dead spot in the track, the 9-volt battery is there and it just runs right past it. So it will run continually. And if you've got the voltage slightly above 9 volts, it's really not draining the battery. I mean, it I guess theoretically could be charging the battery a little bit, or you could even do this with a little rechargeable 9-volt NiCad, and that way you wouldn't be eating up batteries. I've got a stock US-1 chassis here. I was just going to show you real quick. You can see the little tabs right there on the sticking out from the motor. That's where you want to solder your wires. That's all there is to it. Run those out, hook them up to your battery, polarized in the correct way. The weight that I've glued to the front is one of these weights here in the back. You can use anything. I mean, just whatever you got. That's just what I had. It was handy, and I JB welded it to the front. And anyway, that's what I've based my track cleaner on. Now, let me show you how it works. I'll try to do this without making the video look too crazy. I have to I don't have an on-off switch on it, but just move this battery clip over. You can see it starts running. Need just a little bit of oil on it, but runs really well. So I'm going to put it on the track. And you can see, you don't want anything that's going to run fast. And right there it's running just off the battery. Now I'm going to show you, I've got my power supply set at about 10 volts. I'm going to mash the controller wide open. And you can see it adds just a little bit of voltage to it. So now it's running off of the controller, or off of your power supply. And it doesn't matter if there's dead spots in the track, slightly corroded places that you need to clean up. This will run right past them. and you let this thing run for 10 or 15 minutes or a half hour or whatever, depending on how dirty your track is. And it's going to polish those rails. They'll be nice and shiny on the top, and you'll be ready to race. Now I'm going to let off the controller, and what you can do is take a jumper wire. We've got one right here. Take this jumper wire, and I'm just going to jump it across my controller terminals. You can see right here, and you can hear the truck pick up. Now here's my power supply. Right now I've got it set on about 10 volts, so we're going to adjust it down just a little bit more. And right there we are at 9 volts. This battery that's in this truck is probably a little bit weak, so it's really not running on the battery now. It's running off power supply, and if it comes to a spot in the track where it doesn't want to go, then it automatically reverts to the battery, and it keeps going. And what we can do here, all right, I'm going to simulate what happens if it gets to a dead spot in the track. I'm going to unclip the controller. Okay, it's now running on battery. You can tell it slowed down, but it kept going. So the track is completely dead right now, but it's still going, it's still cleaning. So I'm going to hook it back up, and there we go. So anyway, that's my idea for a track cleaner. I found they work really well. They're not hard to build. You can get these trucks real cheap off of eBay. I'm sure there's many of you out there that have much better ideas, some kind of crazy body you could put on it. Make something really cool, but this works. It takes about 30 minutes to build one, and it will save you a lot of time, especially if you've got a large layout with some areas that are slightly hard to reach and hard to clean. You'll love this. Or you could build 2 and clean 2 lanes at one time if you wanted to. So anyway, that's all. I'm Kevin from Full Tilt Speedways, and I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have any questions, you can email me at mayberryunit1@gmail.com. Thanks.